Carpenter Falls is back from the dead tonight as we pay tribute to our haunted past with the first ever Bray Bray.
Let's talk Halloween. For most people, they grow up scared of ghosts and boogeymen. It's not the same for us in Carpenter Falls. 30 years ago, B-movie scream queen and our hometown hero, Marilyn Lee Miller, took her own life, thus sending her only child into madness. The 15-year-old then went on to murder his uncle's entire family before disappearing into the night forever.
What's got you all spazzed out?
Oh, just this time of year. October hits and it's Marilyn Lee Miller this and Marilyn Lee Miller that.
Yeah, well, our town is known for a B-movie scream queen offing herself, so.
I know Halloween. It's a bit of a trigger point for you.
Marilyn's body. It's missing. Someone dug her up.
What is taking Avery and Aaron so long with that pizza?
It's him.
It's who?
Well, a Marilyn Lee Miller fan. Shocker.
Wish I could make it stop.
There's a guy in a mask. He murdered everybody.
Stay here, okay? Stay here!
They stare into the dark from this moment forward. They'll see me.
Opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television for the 14th of November, 2025. Scarefest is behind us, but we still like to revisit some of the stuff that was going on there. Tonight, my co-host is Mr. Chad Harlan.
Good evening.
Hello, Chad, and yeah, and I'll do it your way. We've added some things to the show, everybody. So me, and I don't even know what order I'm doing them. But yeah, Chad's back. Tory Jones from Jonestown Films is our guest tonight. Tory, of course, had The Boy from Below, which won Best Feature and was nominated, and I can tell you, damn near took Best of Horror, and also had actually several good kill scenes. Before I go on, though, Chad, I got something I got to...
Today in Obscure Holidays.
I need to shorten that.
New graphics.
Did you know, Chad, that today is National Pickle Day?
I did not. I would have indulged at dinner, I guess.
It actually it's been all over Facebook. It's a spoiler alert, right? It's been all over Facebook. But yes, National Pickle Day is on November 14th and was created to celebrate the pickle as one of the world's favorite fermented foods. Pickles proved to be preposterously popular with people across the country. I like pickles, but if pickles went out of my life tomorrow, I would be fine. Anyway, the number of pickle eaters is projected to proliferate to more than 250 million by and that was old. That says by 2023. God only knows how many people are eating pickles right now. Plenty of pretext to the position November 14th as prime pickle time. So I wanted to share that with everybody, but you should have left that graphic up. See, that was a cool graphic. That was one of my AI. That's all right. That was one of my AI graphics. Anyway, okay. Now, Tori, that you put up with my bullshit for a moment, welcome to the show.
Thank you all for having me.
Oh, absolutely. First, okay, my question right out of the gate is when does this hit streaming? Have you made any deals? Are you ready to go on that?
So actually, it's actually been a really exciting week. Our sales agent has started presenting the film to some really big studios. So next week's going to be a huge week for the film, and we're excited and fingers crossed that we get a great deal for this film for its release. But so next week, I mean, it's really going in front of the who's who as far as distribution wise.
Good, because I'm going to tell you, everybody watching, soon as this comes out, you got to see it. This is 97 minutes of solid horror film. I mean, there is, okay, I don't get to say this too often. Here in a moment, I'll tell you my two gripes with the film. And they're so fucking minor, you'll laugh at me. But, okay, 97 minutes, it's all horror. Nothing I didn't like, except, now here it comes. When Quinn went to the bathroom by herself, couldn't have happened that way. I have never known a woman to go to the bathroom by herself when she has friends with her. Not once. Not once. And, but I mean, the movie kicks off in full horror mode. I mean, it's from beginning. Now, to play on that, now this was a closure, if you will, of the story, The Wicked One, a short film you did, right?
So this is actually like a bigger budgeted reboot of that film.
Okay.
We made that film almost 10 years ago for no money. And it had a pretty successful run and made a lot of money for a film made for nothing. And then, so I always wanted to do a film with this character that actually had a budget. So it's still a micro budget by industry standards, but $300,000 for this film was our budget. So to come back and just kind of reintroduce the character, do it on a bigger level, it's really no different than what Damien did with Art the Clown. Honestly, Art was in an earlier movie, All Hallows Eve, and then he come back and did Terrifier all those years later. So now this me picking apart my memory. Now the Wicked One, did that one have the origin quote unquote story included in it in some way? Briefly, it was like very brief. Okay. Because, now this is my memory playing tricks on me. Of course, I've watched it during the film festival, and then I rewatched it this week so I get all my questions down. But that scene, the origin story, looked so familiar when I watched it. So that's why I was asking. I guess it just stood out in my mind so much from when I watched it before. From there, I'm going to take you into the first real question I'm going to give you. The casting, this is why everything about this movie was good. The casting on it. I've not seen a horror movie in general with better casting than this movie had. Kudos to you. Is that something you were, as producer, who did the casting for you? That was me. Yeah, that was all me.
Well, good job. Because, D. Wallace, everybody, now, a lot of the horror fans in the chat probably noticed D. Wallace, obviously.
Yeah.
This goes, I don't know if I'm going to credit it to three things. Her acting, your directing, and just a good script. That's as good of a role as that woman has played for years.
Yeah.
Oh, just, yeah. Play it, dude. You've got something here.
So the thing with D was crazy because I almost like spoke that into existence. When I started writing this script, I was like, okay, who's somebody that I would really love to have involved in this film? And I said it out loud. I was like, D Wallace. And I had a friend that was at a convention that D was at, and they were doing the photo ops. And they actually called me and said, hey, there's someone who wants to talk to you. And I was like, okay. So then they handed the phone to D, and D was like, Tory, it's D Wallace. How the hell are you? So I was like, no way. So I immediately started freaking out. And then, long story short, went through her manager, booked her for the role. And once we met on set and got together, it was just magic, man. She's just an incredible human being, just an incredible lady. And yeah, she's become one of my friends now, which is an honor to even say. I mean, one of the first horror movies I ever watched was Cujo. So to be able to work with this lady who has worked with literally everyone, I mean, from Spielberg to Wes Craven to Peter Jackson, I mean, she has worked with everyone. And I'm the kind of person that's like, just because someone's older doesn't mean that they can't have a meaty role in a film, you know?
So this wasn't a walk-on.
Right. Yeah.
Unlike Felissa Rose's part that I'm just going to say anybody could do. And I've told her this.
I love Felissa. She's amazing.
Oh, she's great. Don't get me wrong. But next time I interview her, if I had pulled up this movie and God forbid paid $250 to rent it on Amazon Prime and seen her, well, actually she has a couple of different scenes, but I'm just saying, she typical Felissa feature. Everybody, don't go to the film because Felissa's in it. Now, that being said, there's a lot of reasons to go to the film. Chad, I'm going to come back to you after the break. I'm going to go ahead and beat this dead horse since I've already ran over my time slot. Now, the last thing in this segment, $300,000. That is not a lot of money to make a movie on. I know that. I don't know where all the money goes. But that being said, this is a period piece. Mm-hmm. How do you pull off a period piece on $300,000? Because I could not find any flaws. I Googled a couple things just to make sure they were time accurate. That's how much I wanted to pick apart your movie, and I could not. I even looked up, one of the kids used a cliche. I'm like, had anybody been saying that in 1990? Yeah, they had. They actually had. So, where was it filmed? How did you pull that off for $300,000?
As far as like making sure everything was authentic to the time, we did the best we could as far as that goes, and just really, there was things in the script that people did say, "Hey, Tory, this wasn't said in 97, so can we change it?" So I wish I could say that we came through, like fully, that we didn't have any of those issues, but there was certain things that we like altered, or pivoted from while we were shooting. But yeah, we actually shot this film completely here in Kentucky. We shot mainly in Danville, Kentucky. And then we shot some in Louisville. So
I did not think that.
Really?
You did? Okay, now just to beat on the dead horse of the whole period piece. Where did you find a whole goddamn VCR store?
So I went around the state, literally to every place you can imagine, every Peddler's Mall, every place that I could, and I spent lots of money buying VHSs. Ordered the shelves from a store online, and that store that we had as the video store was actually a store at the marina, like a restaurant. We took everything out, completely set that up, put all those shelves up, put all the VHSs on it, hung the posters up. So we actually created that set for this film. So
everybody, now this wasn't Blockbuster that he set up. This was the store in my hometown before Blockbuster. where you didn't even the videos were not even on the shelf. You went up, you picked the box out, you went to the counter, they reached under the counter. It was so authentic. I got to give it to you. Okay, we're going to do a quick commercial break. We're going to come back, let Chad have at you for 15 minutes. Everybody, we'll be right back.
Are you a fan of horror movies, books, comics, music, and collectibles? Rue Morgue magazine is for you. Subscribe today to receive 6 or 12 print issues annually and join me, executive editor Andrea Subasati, on an ongoing journey through the horror genre of the past, present, and future. Plus, get access to unmissable special editions such as A Century of Witches, 50 Years of Gore Cinema, British horror movies, and so much more. Rue Morgue, the world's premier horror and culture and entertainment magazine since 1997. Accept no substitute.
Tory, it's great to be able to talk to you. I am with Wes. I enjoyed this movie a lot. And he already touched on some of the stuff I had on my list. The location was perfect. I am shocked to hear you say that was in Kentucky. But for a low budget, you found the perfect location. It looked like it was a big budget film that had a lot of set dressing and stuff. And I was also going to ask about if that was your personal VHS, because I was actually looking in the background at what was on the shelves. So I was impressed with the work you did on that. But I'm going to start out with my probably dumb question, and this may just be me. But I never figured out, again, love the movie, I never figured out what boy was below what.
Yeah, so basically that's twofold. The original script had more of like him being under his old house, like living under his old house. Yeah. So that didn't really make it into the final script. But it's more of like the boy from below, like the boy from hell, basically. That's just a nickname. It's one of those like small town things that they just threw on him. I mean, he doesn't call himself that, you know. If it was a real dude, he's not going to call himself that. But yeah, I did want to mention, so all the VHSs that we got for this film, a majority of them I actually sold at Scarefest last year when I had a booth there. So I turned around and sold all these movie props that we had. So we told some people, we were like, you know, hey, this was used in a movie with Dee Wallace and Felissa Rose and Tommy Lee Wallace and stuff like that. But yeah, so a lot of those movies that I got, I ended up turning around and like selling at Scarefest last year. So
screen used. So I mean that should have jacked the price up at least double. I really I figured his layer must be under something. Or I kept going back to the first kid was under the bed, and I didn't know if this was a reference to the victim or but other than that question, I'm with Wes. It was extremely well shot. The casting was amazing. I mean, you had Richie Ramone. Yeah. That was a interesting cameo to pop up in there, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But seeing Dee's role and Felissa, but I want to go back a little bit, and just for the people who aren't familiar with you, and of course a lot of them may have not caught the film at the film festival this year. What made you want to get into writing a horror film? What's your background? How did you fall in love with horror? Or was it just what came out?
So I've always been in love with movies from a young age, just really into storytelling as well. And around 2009, I actually somewhat stumbled into independent filmmaking. And then, you know, since then, The Boy from Below is actually my 7th feature film that I've made. Biggest budgeted one, obviously. But so, yeah, just honestly just love the art of storytelling through film and love the collaboration process when when you collaborate with good people. So, with this film, this character that I created, this is a character that so many years ago, when we did the first Wicked one, we had producers like the Levy brothers, Fuzz on the Lens, who obviously have went on and been a part of Terrifier and Stream and now the Pitchfork Retreat, but they were actually producers on the original one. So this character, I always felt like had so much potential. If I could just get people to see it, that would be the thing. If I could just get people to somehow see it. So we're in that process now of hopefully with the distro deal that we secure, that it will go out and people will see it and we'll take it on the road. Scarefest was actually the first. I wanted to start here in my home state with Scarefest, and then over the next year we'll sort of go out and see what we do and get people to see it. And yeah, I've always loved making movies, always loved horror movies, and there's so much stuff in this film that is like, just like Dee saying the line about the howling, when she goes, "So what kind of movies do you like, Grandma?" And she says, "The Howling was really good, the first one, not the porno sequels." Like, I heard Dee say that at a convention panel one time. So stuff like that I just kept with me over the years and just plugged it into the film. But yeah, always wanted to make movies, and this is like, I feel like on this one, for the first time out of everything I've done, this movie really accomplished what I wanted to do with the character. So
what was I know you were a writer on this one. Were you a writer on the Wicked one as well?
Yeah, co-writer. I've been a writer on all of my stuff. I was a co-writer on this one with Jaron Spencer, and he did a phenomenal job with this film, helping me bring it to life. So,
what was your inspiration for the character originally?
It's a lot of different things, man. I'm a slasher fanatic, or I was. I've kind of burnt myself out on it, honestly, after this film. But I just love slasher movies. Halloween obviously is a huge thing for me, and I think that's pretty obvious, some of the stuff in this film. So, and I love all the Halloweens pretty much, even the bad ones. I enjoyed watching. So yeah, that was a big inspiration for this film and this character, and going back to it, when you watch the film, it's not really a gore fest. There's good kills in it. There's high quality special effects from Cody Ruck, who was our special effects guy, but that's not what it's about. It's story driven, which was always what I wanted to do, was have a story driven slasher film. So
no, it's very much a throwback to those late 80s, early 90s, that it's a horror movie, but it's not a bloodbath. There's it's not a splasher porn or slaughter porn. It's a good story. It's got suspense. It's like I said, I thought it was great, and I thought you did a great job with it. So you talked about your special effects. Where did the costume ideas come from? Who did the design on that, or was that you?
So I did most of the costuming. I didn't create it, but that was the look, that I wanted for it. The mask actually is the same as the original Wicked One mask. A company out of Canada actually makes that mask for me anytime I do one of these films. So, and he doesn't sell it or anything. It's made specifically for this character, the boy from below, the Wicked One. But yeah, that mask is not cheap to make, and we actually had it at Scarefest as well. But that's really, I wanted sort of like a like a Tim Burton scarecrow mask. That was sort of the inspiration for that. And then, if somebody's out there sort of living on the fringe of society and, just doing what he can to survive, he's not going to be dressed in like clean overalls or anything like that, or coveralls. So making sure everything, like down to the boots, everything is distressed, everything is gritty and grimy and dirty. So just all of that. And then actually, I work with a lady. She does a lot of work with professional wrestlers. Her name is Kim, and she did Bray Wyatt's clothes. She's done stuff for Jericho, a couple of jackets for Jericho. She's done stuff for Randy Orton and a bunch of other people. So she's just super talented, and she's worked with me now on several projects, and she actually created the coat for the Killer for this film. So,
well, it all came together, and again, I can't say how much I enjoyed it. So, but we're coming up on the bottom of the hour. I'm going to go ahead and toss to our break a couple minutes early, but we'll be right back with Tory Jones.
Okay, everybody, do not forget, mark your calendars. October 23rd through 25th of 2026 is Scarefest weekend. And mark this too, we won't be able to sell as many tickets, so you might not get one. I'm a pessimist. Anyway, the hotel show, Spawn of Scarefest, coming in 2026, June 5th through 7th. If we show up with 40,000 people at the Marriott Griffin Gate, they will shit their pants. Okay. Now accepting vendor applications. By the way, go to spawnofscarefest.com, spawnofscarefest.com. If you're a vendor out there and you want to try to get in the new show, and we will be, once again, it's going to be a curated vendor floor. About half the vendors that we normally have, but because we just don't have the space. But it's going to be a fun time. The Central Kentucky Mystical Market. That's coming up this weekend, tomorrow and Sunday. Kentucky's premier psychic and artist market. Go to scarefestweekend.com, click the Central Kentucky Mystical Market link, and you can get more details. And finally, I want to remind everybody that Barb, my co-host, you can find her on YouTube, YouTube/@FearTheTalkingHeads. Tonight's show is the Leonora Scelfo episode. That's what she called it. Leonora. Why am I having trouble with that word? I actually knew somebody with that name growing up. Anyway, and as an added thing, Cat Bell will be doing her ASL interpretation, meaning if you can't hear the episode, you can still watch it, but you wouldn't know that unless, well, you could watch me in replay because I have subtitles. So yeah, it works. Everything works. Okay, back to Tory now. Okay, this is how anal I was watching this movie, Tory. Chad asked you about the costuming. Yeah. I even Googled to make sure thongs were in style, because the girl that runs off in her underwear, I said, I don't remember thongs that year. But yeah, no, the people wearing them. I was just old married man by then.
I didn't even think about that. So yeah.
see, that's why as I've described myself, I'm not the guy that blows smoke up your ass. That's. But no, once again, just everything that's clicked together. Although Jake, on the chat room, you said she survived. No, not so much. Spoiler alert there. But okay, now let's get on the kills.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think you just underplayed them a minute ago. Okay, not a gore fest. Not even actually that much fake blood. I'll give you that. But the things that were there were absolutely solid. The ones that okay, first of all, the shovel kill. That rocked my world because I wasn't ready for it. I thought, oh, he just beat him over the head with a shovel. He's done. No. Were these okay? I want to know kind of the creative process on these. Did you just tell your special effects guy, hey, kill that guy? Or did you actually have something in your mind how you wanted this to go over and then he creates it? How does that work?
So it's all written in the script. Cody Ruck, who's our special effects guy, he's actually a teacher at Savini's school. So he's just incredible. If he's available, anytime I do a film, I will have Cody involved. He's just incredible. but yeah, it was written in the script, and then he would also give ideas like, "Hey, what if we do this instead?" And if it was something I liked, then we would go with it. So it's really just a collaborative process between me and him, and what's in the story actually.
And this is kind of a spoiler, people. A lot of the kills are 2-for-1s, including the shovel kill. The one that got you nominated for best kill was basically the guy's face getting ripped off.
Yeah,
that was terribly realistic, and so that's why you put it in the script: rip the guy's face off, and then he came, and so he sat there and said, "Okay, we can do that."
I honestly, I would have to go back and look at that to see what was in the script. I know that originally, I think in the script, it didn't make it into the film, but they did shoot the effect. Is his arm is ripped off, something else happens, and then the face is ripped off. So it was like there were several things that were supposed to happen in that scene, and I'm pretty sure they shot it. I'm pretty sure I saw the footage that we shot that. So, but it didn't make it in the film. I felt like, yeah, the face thing was enough,
Yeah. Well, the other thing is then you'd be redundant because basically you kind of killed Flissoff that way.
Yeah.
She's
probably my favorite kill. The way she was just like, "Oh fuck," and it was like,
it was eye catching and it was original. I'll give you that. It just didn't have, to me, it didn't have the shock value. For some reason, the guy's face was getting ripped off. Shock value. The way she got killed, it was more of a. It was one of those deals. Now, and this might be because I'm such a big Dee Wallace fan. Now on the writing, I guess this will go back to your writing. The line where it says, "Grandma don't like guns," or didn't like guns because it was past tense at that point. Grandma didn't like guns, and then they pull that thing out of the closet. That caught me by surprise. Was that the only shotgun you could find? Because that's not a grandma shotgun.
Honestly, I don't even know. I think that was just a prop we had, and that's what we went with. Honestly,
I mean, it worked.
She really doesn't like guns. So that was when we were talking. She was like, "Tori, I don't like guns. I don't like to work with them on a set." She brought up the whole Rust thing with Baldwin, and she was like, "They just make me nervous." And I was like, "Well, Dee, you don't have a gun in this film, so you don't got to worry about that." But yeah, Grandma's got a shotgun in there, and it's a heavy duty shotgun. So
yeah. People, it's freaking assault weapon. It's not an automatic shotgun, but it's not the kind you go bird hunting with. Is what I'm saying. Now, one last thing before I turn you back over to Chad. Now, one thing, and this is something I really like, and you see it more. It was in 80s horror movies, but it seems like we're better at it now. The females in this movie, killed or not, all had good survival instincts. None of this falling down bullshit. They actually, got out of the way of the killer. With one exception, the girl in the middle of the road with the shotgun. I really think she could have,
got out of the way.
Yeah. But I guess she was blinded with the rage by that point. Although another solid kill right before that for the shock value. I got to give you that. That was... It telegraphed for about 5 seconds, and you went, "Oh shit!" And she pulled the trigger anyway. Everybody,
I won't ruin that one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Chad, over to you.
Tori, you mentioned a while ago that this is not your first feature film, so maybe let's give our viewers a little bit of taste of some of your other projects.
Oh gosh, honestly, I would probably say watch this one and don't watch the other ones because they're so low budget.
You're at the right crowd though for loving some low budget films. If they're well done, we have the fans here.
The original Wicked one was just a labor of love. And then the film that we did after that, Angel, it's honestly more. I watched it the other day for the first time in years, and it's actually more cinematic than I remember it being. Which we shot around Kentucky, and it's about an abandoned town. So if I was gonna say watch my old stuff, I would say Angel for sure. And it's super low budget, like not even $20,000. So keep that in mind. But Angel, and then the best experience I've ever had making a movie was on a film called They See You. And it's more campy and more lighthearted. But yeah, that was just the best experience I've ever had making a movie. I mean, it was like summer camp. We all just, that's what I'm chasing. Like, if I can have another experience like that, I honestly would probably be like, I'm retiring now. I've got that again, so it's time to ride off in the sunset. But yeah, those two films were a lot of fun. So I would definitely check those out. But yeah, I kind of look at it like The Boy from Below is so much bigger and on a bigger level than those films. It's hard to honestly say watch that, right? It's hard for me, at least, to say watch that stuff with a film like this. So hopefully, the cool thing with me is I've been very fortunate and lucky that every film I've done, the budget has doubled from the previous one. So that's been something that's just continued. So fingers crossed, if that continues with what we do next, we should have a decent budget to be able to do a film. But yeah, I kind of look at it as The Boy from Below is like a brand new start, and everything before that, although I loved it and I loved the people for sure that was involved in those films, it's hard to compare the two, honestly.
Where did you, obviously you've worked on quite a few, where did you develop your skills? Are you self-taught, or did you go to school for cinematography, or?
So I just studied film. I honestly, I tell you, one of the big things for me, and I've said this before, is Rob Zombie would do a lot of 4-hour documentaries for his films. He had a lengthy one for Devil's Rejects, and then he had the 4-hour one for Halloween. And he had one for 31. And I just studied that Halloween one, that 4-hour one. I would watch that over and over and over again, more than I ever watched the movie. So I just studied BTS, and then I would listen to, another thing I would do is I would listen to directors talk on I don't know if you guys remember, I don't know if they even still do it, but they would do the round table, for the Oscars or whatever, and they would have all the directors nominated would be on there talking. And they would talk about all their journey and making these films. And I just listened to them. I wanted to hear what they had to say. So yeah, I never went to school. I almost went to New York Film Academy, came close, ended up not going. But I just studied directors. I listened to different directors, whether they were a hard ass, whether they were just listening to them, lighting a fire in their cast, or Jim Cameron telling Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm sorry, if you don't audition, you can't be in this film. You're not above auditioning, no matter who you are. So stuff like that, I just listen to them and their how they do things, their routine. And yeah, I will tell you, I'm definitely not the most perfect director. All my friends say I'm a way better producer than I am a director, for whatever that means. But yeah, it's very much just, I like to give people, I'm the kind of director that I like to give people the freedom to collaborate and develop the characters. Case in point, on this film, when the original script was written, the love interest was not a female. It was a guy. And talking with my lead actress, who she's a part of the LGBTQ community, she suggested it. And because I trusted her and we had a decent relationship on the last film, I trusted her. I was like, okay, I'll do this. I'll change this character. And so I technically did that for her, but it worked out. And I like that collaboration process. Like I always tell people, like what's on the paper is never like what it has to be. Like if that sounds weird, let's just change it. If it doesn't play right, or if it comes off as odd, let's change it. Let's pivot. Let's make it to where, how would you say it? Does that sound more natural?
Yeah.
So it's very much a collaborative process.
Well, you mentioned producing and directing. What's your favorite role when you're putting these together? I know you're the writer as well.
Yeah.
So, where do you find your biggest passion?
I love producing. I will be honest. I have not had an opportunity for myself where I just got to focus on directing. That's not happened yet. I wish that would happen. So that I'm producing, I got to handle this situation with this, celebrity or whatever. And I've got this going on over here and this. And then I have to be there to direct mentally. So it's a lot, man. I honestly wish that I could have that opportunity just to direct. And the closest I came to that was on They See You, which was just, like I said, just a dream. But with this one, there was so much going on and just so many different flights in, flights out, celebrities, juggling that, just different stuff. So it was a lot. Honestly, this project was a lot. As far as my favorite thing is sitting behind a camera and watching someone tap into what you've written in a way that only you've seen, and then taking it and going beyond that. There's been moments in some of my films, usually in every film, there's a moment where they do something and you're like, why'd you do that? And they've made it so much better than what you originally thought by taking your idea. So yeah, even just little looks, I credit a lot. My lead in this film, she did a really good job. They did a really good job. They did a really good job of just the way that her facial expressions, how she would even respond to certain things in the film. It just seems so natural. It doesn't seem staged. It doesn't seem like she's forcing anything. They're forcing anything. I'm going to get in trouble. They're forcing anything. But yeah, they did a great job. And so many other people, Felissa, just great. Just the choices she would make. Dee. I told Dee when she got there, I was like, okay, Dee, if you have something, if you have a thought, tell me, because I want to learn from you too. I mean, Jesus Christ, there's this woman who has been acting for as long as she has and has worked with the people she's worked with. I want to learn from her too. So yeah, it was really magical to work with people like her, Tommy Lee Wallace. I mean, this guy directed Stephen King's It, Halloween 3 was on the original Halloween. It's just, so you're intimidated by that to an extent, but it's just an honor and just so awesome to be able to work with people who you grew up watching their body of work.
I enjoy it. Like I said, I enjoyed seeing the cast you put together work together, and you can tell that everybody collaborated. But we're coming up to our last break. I'm going to go ahead and toss over to that, and we'll be back in just a moment with Tory Jones.
Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis, Bonehead Weekly. The reason my eyes are red is because I do a lot of drugs. Actually, that's a joke. What it is actually, better fix my hair, is I just had a coughing fit, so sorry. I really liked it, and I don't know how they did it. It's not the best thing, like a lot of people are going to say, but it's pretty good. This week's review is Predator Badlands. So when they made Prey and it came out on Hulu, it was a guy named Dan Trachtenberg, or ever how you say his name. And he did a movie I really liked that was called 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is a spinoff of the Cloverfield movies, which is really good if you've never seen it, with John Goodman. It's a two-hander with two people, and one of them's got the other one locked down in a cellar, kind of basement bunker kind of thing. This one isn't that much different. He directed Prey, and I thought Prey was way better than it had any right to be. And in this one, he somehow pulls off something that I don't know. One, we follow a predator as the protagonist, the hero, throughout the movie from the jump. That's one. It's like, well, how do you do that in a feature-length film? He found a way. Two, not only do we follow the predator throughout the movie as the hero, he made a movie about predators, a predator, where you can take your kid. I'm not saying this is family, it's just not a Pixar film, but it's pretty family friendly. There's not one person in this movie gets murdered. Boy, there sure are a lot of synthetics and aliens that get caught up. But as far as blood and guts of human beings, not so much. And there's only like one bad word. It's the S word. Shit. That's it. So I took my 8-year-old, because it's PG-13 and I'm a terrible dad and make questionable decisions, but hopefully he'll remember me fondly. We had the blast. Now, a lot of people are talking about how excellent this movie is. I actually think it's pretty good. It's not excellent. There's a couple of times I kind of looked at my watch and was like, oh, and there's Ash the cat. But it is so good. Quit. It is so good because you can take your kids. There's tons of action. People say, oh, it starts, it doesn't quite stop. It stops in a couple places, but it needs to. Elle Fanning as the synthetic, and it's a two-hander, back to what I was saying, back to Dan Trachtenberg and 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's basically just this predator and a synthetic trying to make their way in a big old planet, and I'm not going to tell you the whole plot, because you really should go see this in a big theater, in a big screen, because it's so much fun. And they've got to make their way through a planet to get to the objective, which is to kill this big bad monster to make his dad proud. They're terrible people. Predators are terrible people. But this one is not a terrible person, and I just can't tell you how much fun it is. And especially because you can totally go with your kids. It's really not that bad. There's tons of throwbacks to Alien in this, by the way. There's a lot of connections between Predator and Alien in this movie. Like, there's almost, not only is there, but there's throwbacks to Predator too, but to me, it's almost more to Alien. I had a fantastic time with it. It's a really good, solid, action, dumb Predator movie. It really is. It's not as good as Hunter of Hunters, the animated Prey one that came out on Hulu. Some of you will disagree with that. I actually preferred that one a little bit more than this one. But it's a great bookend. So where that one was extremely violent, even though it was animated and blood and guts and foul language, this one, extremely violent, but there's no blood and guts. It's all aliens, right? It's like, was it a real person? That was a robot. Go check out Predator Badlands. I had the best time with my 8-year-old with it. Check it out. I enjoyed it. Not as good as people say, but it's pretty damn good. Thank you, Dan Trachtenberg. I want you to keep making Predator movies. I want to know more. This is amazing. And the lead character, pretty sympathetic.
Amanda Wyss, winner of the Horror Icon Award at the 2020 Women in Horror Film Festival, began her career in the early 1980s in teen roles, including Lisa in the coming-of-age comedy film Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Tina Gray in one of our favorite slasher films, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Beth in the dark comedy Better Off Dead. To date, she has racked up over 100 acting credits, with more on the way. Join us Friday, October 21st, as Wes and Barb talk to this legendary Scream Queen.
And welcome back, everybody, to the last few minutes of Scarefest TV with our guest, Tory Jones of Jonestown Films, and we're talking about The Boy from Below. Now, to answer a question in the chat room, that was Spooky Madison. Spooky Madison was the main protagonist in the movie. And incidentally, I'm becoming a fan of that woman. I saw her in the Carnival movie, whatever the hell it was called. Anyway, she is solid. That's just, that's all you can say about it. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to go back to Jonestown Films, or more to the point, you were talking about it, Tori. You said that how you learn to direct. Do you realize you're not making the same mistakes that I see other low budget directors make?
What do you mean?
In particular, okay, first of all, filmed obviously on digital, but it didn't have that digital look. It didn't have that digital vibe, okay? Didn't quite make it film, and don't ever put that fake fucking film grain in a movie, or I won't have you on the show again. But okay, the audio, for example.
Mm-hmm.
This was fairly complicated audio in a lot of spots.
Mm-hmm.
It was always crisp. It was always clean. And when I see, I can't tell you how many movies we kick out of the film festival because the audio sucked. Just that simple. I mean, so is that something you hired out? Is that something you knew how to do? Tell me about that aspect of it, the perfection part of it, you might say.
It's just about hiring the right people. The guy who did sound for us, he's actually from Kentucky. Incredible guy. Super quiet, super chill. Does his job and goes back to lodging, and he's just easy to work with. But he did an awesome job. And then, of course, having a good editor as well. I've been criticized by other filmmakers for this, that I pay people too much. But I guess my outlook is that I don't want to always be, I've been at the bottom of the bottom barrel level, So for me, if I'm not growing, then I'm wasting my time. So each film I've done, I've tried to make it better than the last and better than the one before that. And with this, we just had top-notch people all the way around. My director of photography, Cody Newton, he shot The Death of Snow White right after this film. He was incredible. My editor, Andy Palmer, this guy directed, he's worked on, $1 million budget films to $4 million budget films and beyond. He's just incredible. He did the Funhouse Massacre. He did Camp Coldbrook. So I got people that the film benefited from them being a part of, because they're very knowledgeable and very skilled in what they do.
Okay, now something you just said there. Now, you're on the right track. You pay people too much. Are they saying you pay too many people to do the jobs you could do in a low budget, or are they saying you just write the checks a little bigger than you have to?
So obviously in independent film, there's never enough money. And when I started out, a lot of the people that were working with me, we did it for free. I mean, we didn't have money. When you're trying to make a movie for, $20,000, you don't have money to pay people. So when you get on a $300,000 budget film, you can pay people. And so, I have filmmaker friends that they'll say, like, oh, you're making monsters, you're paying people too much. And now they feel like they should be paid that on every film. To me, I don't really see what the issue is as far as, they're working, they need to be paid. This is not obviously a $1 million budget film, but everybody should be compensated for the work they do, especially, working long hours and working the schedule that we work and stuff like that. So
and that's how you get the good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're on the right track, because here's what happens. 20 years from now, someone will ask one of these actresses about your film because they liked it. And they will come out, and even if no matter how good the film is, if the one thing that sticks in that actor's mind is he didn't pay shit, that's what they're going to tell the panel. Just so
right.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, whoever told you that, full of shit. Absolutely full of shit. And I bet I know who it is. I'm not going to say. That was pretty much my notes on it. You got anything else, Chad?
No, just anybody out there, if you get a chance to see it, go see this movie. It was one of the better, uh, especially low budget, but it was just one of the better horror movies I've seen this year. So check it out.
So you're going to run the festival circuit another year, according to if
Yep.
everything goes as planned.
Yeah. Unless distro says, hey, don't do that.
Right.
So
now, from a film, here's something I want to ask you, because this has come up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is people. Okay, we're inside baseball shit now. You can all turn the TV off. I've had films do this to me. They enter the film festival, and the one that comes to mind, it was a good film. It wasn't a great film, but it did make the finals. It was like the only documentary, one of two that we had that year.
Yeah.
And then I go to invite them to the film festival, and they, oh no, we've got a distribution deal. You can't show it. So it screwed up the whole lineup. It left a slot. We was able to bump somebody else up. But as the producer, as the director, is that something you kind of track, knowing, in other words, you worry about that? Like if you get a distribution deal, is that on your radar to yank that thing out of the festivals and make sure you contact them all?
I've never had that happen before. So I hope that doesn't happen, because that would be a mess with everybody that this film has been submitted to. Like I said, I wanted to start where we started, here in my home state. God, I hope that doesn't happen. That would be a shit show if that happened.
Well, that's what I thought too. But obviously to them it was just,
But I guess it just depends on who it is. We're taking it to people like Shudder, people like that,
right.
That are looking at it. So, I've never had that happen, but God, I don't even want to think about that happening, Wes. Now you've got me.
I didn't realize it was such a big thing, because of the way they did downplay. Oh yeah, we've got a distribution deal. We're selling DVDs at our table, whatever the fuck it was. And I'm like, and okay, now I'll tell you, from the film festival standpoint, I'm sure most film festivals in the convention circuit anyway are like ours, and we have X number of judges, and they've got a big number of films to watch. And the fact that, okay, I understand we watched it and, we went back to judge it, looking back on it. But then once we announce those finalists, the judges are already rewatching stuff. In other words, they're putting more time into the movie that they get nothing out of. So I'm just saying, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Because I've got a funny feeling, if you put this, what are your future plans? What kind of movie do you want to make next?
Oh God, that's a good question. I have kicked around so many ideas. I just said, basically, I don't want to do a slasher film.
But you're so fucking good at it, dude.
I know, but I just did it.
Just do the whole Terrifier bullshit. Just keep making the same film over and over.
God.
Because your guy ain't no deader than the other guy.
Well, I guess that depends on how people respond to it, once it comes out. If people gravitate towards it and like it and want to see another one, then maybe. Honestly, I would love to do a different kind of a period piece. I'm becoming a really big fan of is it Robert Eggers? Robert, maybe? I don't know. I'm gonna it's the guy who did The Witch. He did Nosferatu. He does all his movies are period pieces. So I want to do a period piece that's set back. I want to do Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, something like that.
Okay, so real period piece.
Right. I want to do something like that. Now, logistically, that presents all kinds of different challenges.
I don't know. You're in Kentucky. We haven't torn anything down for 100 years.
If they would let me film it Fort Boonesboro or something like that,
Shakertown.
Yeah, Shakertown. We talked about that. Yeah. There's one in Bardstown.
You got a big fucking castle on New Circle, right off on Versailles Road, right off New Circle. The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Okay, now, what in closing on that, we're at 10 o'clock. You said everything was filmed in Kentucky. Now, the exteriors on the boat dock, or I should say the town setting next, that is not a naturally occurring thing in Kentucky that I know of. Did you at least use some exterior shots from like Maine or someplace?
Potentially.
Okay, you're not going to give it up. Okay. Or did you have somebody come in and build you a fucking model?
I wish. That's something else I want to do. I wish.
Well, okay. End of the show. I just want great job. Great movie.
Thanks.
Everybody, once again, the name of the movie was Boy from Below, and you cannot go wrong by seeing it.
Thank you.
He downplayed it a couple of things. Yeah, a couple of times. The kills are solid. We're just going to say that. All the kills are solid. And thank you for not using that shitty CGI that I've seen in some films, too. the exploding blood when they shoot somebody.
No.
Oh, you made all the right choices on this movie. Go to bed knowing that tonight.
I appreciate that, man. And I want to say thank you to you guys, too, because Scarefest is just one of those things you look forward to every year. The convention. It seems like it gets more and more crowded. This year it was so crowded. I was like, oh my God, I can't even look. There's people behind me, people in front of me. But it's just one of those things you look forward to every year, and to have your film play there is super cool. So thank you all for that.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing your next one. So
everybody, this has been Scarefest TV. Don't forget Amanda Wiss next week.